Let me say good morning to the press, and we are here to deliberate on issues of national importance from the perspective of the St. Lucia Labour Party. And I will speak directly to the point of the reopening of school and the increased financial burden on parents. Now, first of all, we know we are going through a very unusual situation right now with COVID-19. And for that, we have a situation where a lot of parents are actually unemployed right now. Those who are working in the tourism, hospitality industry, vendors, and other workers where the businesses are not thriving now, they have been laid off. And some parents have 2, 3, 4 children to send to school, and they are unemployed. There are cases where both mothers and fathers are unemployed. Then you will need to wonder, how are they going to send these children to school? They have to provide uniforms, they have to provide books, they have to provide food, they have to provide transportation, and they even have to pay facilities fee to the schools. The ministry's arrangement, in some cases, the children have to go to school earlier, which is about 8:30. And parents have to get up a lot earlier to struggle out there to get these children on transportation to be in school on time. All these are challenges that parents have to face right now. Where are the resources? Fortunately, the St. Lucia Labour Party had introduced the $500 bursary for students going into secondary school. And because the United Workers' Party did not want a revolution in St. Lucia, they had to keep that policy. That policy had to stay there. And this is like a saving grace for parents right now, those who are receiving that $500. And they have to say thank you to the St. Lucia Labour Party for having the foresight and the vision to introduce that policy. The government spoke about e-books. Now, it would have been a good thing if the children had e-books. That would save parents a lot of money so that they would not have to buy books for the children. Where are the e-books? And I want them to investigate the story, the e-books. When you get these, you have to pay every year. And you will need to find out what that recurring cost would have been to government for parents to have e-books. The pressure will be brought to bear on teachers. When parents cannot foot the bill, they still send the children to school. And the teachers have to be the one to cope with the situation in the schools. And in consultation with some of them, they have already given me feedback. They are telling you that the resources at the schools are limited right now. And when children come and they do not have books, they do not have lunch, they are not prepared, some may not even have transportation costs. And teachers have to go directly into the bag to see what they can get to assist these children to stay in school. There is a lot of anxiety around the reopening of school. Anxiety by teachers, anxiety by principals, anxiety by students, and anxiety by parents, especially leaving home, going into school, and wearing masks on the transportation. How long will the children wear this mask for the day? This the teachers cannot explain until they have a trial, and the trial will start on Monday. They have indicated that the institution of protective gear is a challenge for the schools because this is something they never had before. There is a particular school that a teacher told me there are 200 students in the school and they have just about 2 bottles of hand sanitizer. I don't know, in 5 minutes that would be empty. So that is the beginning, and teachers will have to buy these sanitizers to help cope with the standard that is set in the protocol. So right now I can tell you that the education system in St. Lucia is on a go-slow. And I don't think we can have our children's education on a go-slow, especially in the time of technology. During the time of COVID and students were allowed to stay home, the government should have had a big savings. And I'll tell you, they would have saved on electricity because the children were not in school. They would have saved on water. With COVID, they had to wash hands every minute and the children like to play in the pipe. They would wash hands 10 times. They saved on school feeding program. They did not have to feed them. They saved on transportation, those the government subsidized. So we want to know where is the money that was saved while the children were at home. And that money should be used to subsidize materials and resources in school. Right now, some schools are still undergoing repair. Although there were no school for a long period, schools are still being under repair at this time. And they have also indicated that the arrangement made, there is inadequate space to have social distancing in the classroom. There is a case, for example, in Babono and Balata, where the children from Balata, there are too many students for the social distancing. So they are going to transfer some of the students to Babono, where Babono had an additional classroom space. But they have not factored in transportation to transport the children from Balata to Babono. That is an additional cost that parents may have to incur. I want to say that we need to be very thankful that the St. Lucia Labour Party introduce universal secondary education, because I'm of secondary school. Thanks to vision. The $500 bursary, government is forced to pay it now, especially in the time of COVID. And the laptop. Now we hear children who come first in common entrance, they are the ones who get laptop. When Labour Party had a policy where every single child would have access to the device, now it is limited to one who scored very high in common entrance, and ministers go and give those kind of little tokens. It should have been for everybody. And in an effort to have quality education, there must be no discrimination. Every single child must have equal access. And what I would hate to see in St. Lucia as we proceed into this COVID period is a situation where people who can afford, it may even boil on to ministers or prime ministers. I want the media to open its eyes and ears and do its research. Where these people would not say the education system in St. Lucia is substandard, and therefore they will have to send the children overseas. And I saw that happen in Haiti, where the rich people send the children to school in France. They found that the standard of education, the quality of education in Haiti was not to the standard for the children. And I hope nobody who can afford here will find that our education system is substandard, and therefore they will send the children overseas, especially primary and secondary. We should ensure that we have quality education for all. I thank you.